interview experience that went very well for you?
What went well for me was my confidence.
How did you solve for that?
Focus on the fundamentals, they focus on the analytical questions.
Don't leave your current job.
I have the ability to make complex things very simple.
Curating your resume in the right way does increase your chances of getting that call.
Are there any other skills or certifications that have helped you?
In my current organization, everything is Power BI.
Do you think your habit of writing,
My previous experience will actually help me.
The masterclass I attended led by you and Double, it was batch 2, was invaluable.
what are the three most important things that people should focus on?
They would give some kind of case studies to do in Excel.
I did only this one certification for FP&A.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this quick edition of FP&A Success Stories, where we are interviewing our alumni as to how they were able to transition to FP&A roles from the background that they came from, and how Masterclass has helped them in this transition as well. So it would be interesting to know their stories. Again, so this is the first edition of it. So there are many more stories like this from our alumni, and thank you, Shweta and Subhashish, for being here and sharing your story with us today. We'll be happy to have you here. I have with me Asif as well. Asif has initiated this success story session as well, and it would be interesting to understand. It would be a great learning for everybody else as to how certain challenges were the participants were able to overcome when they were transitioning to FP&A roles. So that is the background behind the success story session that we wanted to conduct. Any opening thoughts, Asif?
Yes, and the idea is, along with promoting our institute, that is one objective for sure. Along with that, objective for the alumni is to know which people are doing the right things and reach out to them as well. So if you feel you are stuck at some point, and maybe they are going to be better guide than us, because we have done that 10 years back, but they have done it just 3 months back or 6 months back. So good to reach out to these folks who have done it successfully. And I'm sure, being a part of the FPI community, they will definitely be available to answer your questions and help you out in any way possible. So that is also the objective. Yes, Dhaval, we can get started.
Fantastic. We won't spend much time on our introduction, so a little bit of information about FPI. So where we are so far with FP&A Professionals Institute. So 2018 is when I launched my first course, that was FP&A Foundations. It's doing great on Udemy. More than 2,000 people have taken it. It's available on our portal as well. That's when I started my FP&A course. It was in 22 that Asif, when he was writing his book all about FP&A, he was almost ready with his book and he published it. He then reached out to me, and then we started collaborating on our flagship program, which is called FP&A Masterclass, which is a 4 weeks live program, 2 hours every Saturday, Sunday. Covers a whole range of topics from budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, storytelling, business partnering. And we have many FP&A Masterclass alumni today as well. Moving on to 2023, as if you want to take 23.
Yes, so in the middle of 2023, we got a lot of requests from people not being able to attend the live program due to various reasons. That's when we decided to create a online self-paced version of the FP&A program, which is a 8 weeks FP&A launchpad. This was launched somewhere in middle of 2023, and by now more than 100 plus people have successfully completed, and more than 200 people have enrolled for this program. In 2023, we also introduced a couple of trainings which were requested by the community. So a lot of people requested for trainings on financial modeling and Power BI, and we roped in some external faculty for Power BI, and we initiated the financial modeling for FP&A program as well. Both of them have done reasonably well. I think Power BI we did 3 batches until now, and my financial modeling we have completed 5 batches. This year, my focus was on writing the second book, which was Accounting to FP&A, which is almost ready, and it will launch soon in the next few weeks. I think end of June is what we are targeting for the launch. And also the CGFPA 6 month in-depth certification, which I think some of you have already enrolled over here. So that has been our journey so far.
Fantastic.
I
Great.
think we can
Uh,
stop. Yeah, we can stop sharing screen after the intros.
some introduction about Shweta and Subhashis as well, if
Yes, yes. So Subhashish was one of the very first people who joined the FP&A masterclass. I think it was batch two or batch three. I don't remember. So one of the first, I think 25 people who have taken the FP&A masterclass, which was back in 2020, end of 22, beginning of 23. So about 2 years back, and he's been in touch and very active in the community as well, attending all our most of our mastermind sessions. So welcome, Subhashish.
Thank you.
And also we have Shweta. So Shweta recently completed the FP&A Masterclass Batch 10, which was in April 2024. And she was also appearing for FP&A interviews alongside. And it just so happened because of her preparation and the FP&A concepts that she got interested into the FP&A Masterclass, and that also helped her into getting into an FP&A manager role. So welcome, Shweta.
Thank you, Asif, for having me here.
Awesome. Why don't you guys introduce yourself? So some people may not know you. So some people may know you from the alumni, but yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself. Now we can stop sharing the screen. We'll stop sharing.
Okay, so I'll go first. Uh, Hello everyone. I am CA Shweta Chalani and I completed my CA in 2021. Most of my experience before becoming an FP&A manager has been into auditing and accounting. I've worked with Deloitte, EY, and Wipro. And after leaving Deloitte, I was in dilemma as to which profile I was willing to go to because I had like very clear mind as to not going into audit. I was looking at technical accounting advisory or any other profile that is of interest. But I think in October 2023, I reached out to Asif. I texted his LinkedIn because I had gone through his LinkedIn profile and I just saw that he had a lot of experience into audit, and then he had got into FP&A and finance. So I texted him asking as to how he moved, how he did that transition. And luckily, he just told me that he was about to write a book which was on the same subject as to people as to how one can move from accounting to FP&A. And he reached out to me for some help on this project, and I got into that book project and I got to learn a lot. I was not very sure as to I would be getting into FP&A or not. I just became a part of the book project because I had nothing to do as and I was just looking out for jobs and I was doing content on the side. And I became interested in the project. I read his book, first book, all about FP&A, and I gradually got interested into this profile and enrolled myself into the masterclass. And one thing that I did side by side was I started applying for the jobs simultaneously. I didn't wait for the masterclass to complete. So that's how my journey has unfolded, and I'll get to more of this in the further questions.
Yeah, one thing I forgot mentioning that Shweta has been a big help in the second book project which is going to launch in June. So she helped me reach out to 25 experts in who had done so she helped me manage the entire project. So she helped me manage the entire project, which was a 6-month project where we reached out to 20 plus people, interviewing them and then going through those recordings. So Shweta helped, I think, read all those transcripts, and I think somewhere that must have also
Yes.
I mean motivated her to get into FP&A. But yeah, great job on that. Thank you so much, Subhashish.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Subhasis Mishra. I currently live in Bangalore and work at 3M India as a lead FP&A. So I work directly with the CFO of the corporate shared services. It's one vertical of FP&A. And in this role, I kind of oversee the financial planning, budgeting, analysis, ensuring that our financial strategies align with the company's broader objectives. And I have close to 9 years of experience. Like I started my career in controlling and kind of financial reporting in that line, where I developed my skill to financial oversight, strategic planning, etc. And then I transitioned into more specialized FP&A role, which allowed me to leverage my analytical skills to drive business performance and decision making. So I have worked in companies like Deloitte Consulting, Wells Fargo, then companies like Juniper Networks, T Systems, and now in 3M India. So here I work as a lead. So we are responsible for developing financial models, automating different processes, and taking the advantage of all the data analytics and visualization skills, mostly Power BI, and yeah, providing the actionable insights to the executive decision-making team. So on a personal note, I would like to tell I'm passionate about continuous learning and professional development. I always look for attending more kind of webinars, and then different leaders they're doing some kind of webinars every weekend, and different kind of certifications, though it is not a professional certification, but yeah, some kind of training certification. And so which I can talk about the FP&A masterclass. It was way back 2022. It was initial when Asif and Dhaval they kind of started it. So at that time I joined, and I'm in touch with Asif before he has written the book also. I used
Yes.
to talk to him before regarding any kind of my doubts and all. Yeah, it's been a nice journey. So maybe I can talk about other things more in coming. Yeah, that's pretty all
Awesome.
about me.
Awesome. Welcome, Subhashish. Dhaval, you want to go first, or should I initiate the first question that we have?
Maybe you start us if I'll join.
So why don't you tell us about what were the key challenges that you faced in transition from Shweta can talk about moving into FP&A role from audit, and Subhashish, maybe you can talk about moving into your current role, which is a FP&A lead role.
So first of all, if I were to look at my resume that I originally had, it was loudly telling that I come from an audit background. So getting those interview calls was very difficult for FP&A. So first thing that I was supposed to do was to personalize my resume specifically for FP&A. So the biggest challenge was to get the interview calls, because for somebody who had 2 or 3 years of experience into reporting and auditing does not easily get a call for FP&A, because that's not something which is directly related to it in the eyes of HR or anybody who's recruiting. So that was the biggest challenge for me to get the interview calls.
And I mean, did any particular thing help you in overcoming that? What was it that you think could have helped? I mean, what was the thing that worked for you while
So
solving that? How did you solve for that?
oh, as I mentioned, I specifically made a resume for the FP&A profiles where I
Mhm.
targeted those keywords like financial planning, analysis, and I actually integrated those elements from my audit background that I could easily show as a transferable skill into FP&A and showcase as to how financial planning and analysis has been a core part of my previous experience, because otherwise nobody would pick your
Mhm.
resume. So that's what I did. I integrated those keywords, the right set of keywords. I also took help of the resume that you share with the people who are into FP&A masterclass, so that how to quantify the resume, how to quantify the results that you must have shown in your previous experience. So that's how I overcame that challenge and I got those calls.
Subhashish, would you like to share your experience?
Yeah, definitely. So I would not call it a transition to FP&A, but rather a transition from a typical stagnant FP&A role to something kind of leading a team
Mhm.
and working directly with the leadership team. And one thing I would like to tell right now, if you are having 2 3 years 4 years of experience, then there are companies who hire in bulk, so they would not ask not a lot of questions, but yeah, there are few questions they would ask. But yeah, when it comes to a requirement based, like hiring a particular lead, a replacement based, then that is a challenge. That is definitely a challenge. If it is a FP&A lead role or a manager role, you have to replace somebody. So there will be multiple rounds of interviews, like 5 rounds, 6 rounds. They will give you a lot of case studies to do on spot. They want you to share your screen and tell you something about that. So yeah, the masterclass I attended, led by you and Dhaval, it was batch two, was invaluable. I would say, like, I learned a lot from both of you and even the other participants, because I remember there were people from all over the world, and there were few people were having like for 12 14 15 years of experience. I think few were I could see them in call also. But yeah, it definitely learned a lot from all of them. And Yeah, in the masterclass also, like we went through series of case studies, I remember, and there are a few real life scenarios. We explained few pen points. We discussed in different groups, and group discussion on multiple topics. And yeah, this experience definitely helped me advance to the next level. That is for sure. That's what I would like to tell. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that,
Interesting.
Ashish.
So one, can you recollect one interview experience that went very well for you, and what kind of clicked instantly in that interview? So any experiences, any positive experiences in the interview?
Yeah, definitely. So one I would like to tell, I would not take the company name. It went really well, and the reason was I prepared well about the company, like a business canvas model. I remember Asif has introduced that in a masterclass in complete one. It was a 1 hour or 45 minute session. So that definitely helped me. I researched about the company well. I drafted that like I typically I just copied that Word file and I created my own about the company and I showed it to them. Like initially there were no discussion about the that thing because the interview was going in some other direction. But yeah, I somehow pulled it back and I told them I have prepared something for this company, for X company. Then they were like, "Oh, is it? So can you please share your screen and let us know what is that?" Then I showed it. It was for the last 5 minutes. I just showed it and explained them. Then they were interested about it. They asked me just share it through email, and there I got to know their own email ID also, and I shared it them. So it went well in that direction. I don't want to talk more about that, but yeah. So that is something I'm even doing it more often than not, and this is definitely stand you out from the rest of the crowd because this, as far as I know, like there are many people who reach out to me about their career things and how to move into FP&A and stuff like that. So I see like most of the people, they don't do it, and I would prefer them to do it so that to stand out among others. So this is one example I remember, so thought of sharing it.
Very interesting. I think you brought out a very good point. Not many people would take that effort to actually draft a proper business model canvas for the company that they are interviewing. It clarifies so many different things. It's such a structured tool that one can use, right? If anybody here has not used business model canvas, please do check out the videos on that, and then do use it in your preparation for the company that you are going to interview.
Shweta, you want
Shweta?
to add your experience, any of your crazy experiences?
So for FP&E, I just give that one. I mean, I only applied for that one company where I got selected. So I would share the experience that I had over there. I gave 3 rounds of interviews. The first round happened with the lead finance, who is my reporting manager, and next with the CFO, and the third one was with the MD. So all of them asked me if I would be able to look at finance from a different perspective because my earlier experience has been from the audit standpoint. So they were like, now you are on the other side of the table. Will you be able to tackle things? Because there would be questions, there would be things, and you will be meeting stakeholders who would or would not like to give you information. So will you be able to handle those kind of things? And there were questions if I would be able to handle large number of line items in Excel, and will I be able to do the budgeting and everything. So I think what went well for me was my confidence, and I also, highlighted that I've done this certification course and have been part of the book project very, nicely, because I thought they should know that I know what budgeting and forecasting is. And if I were not to highlight that, they would feel that I do not know anything about finance. So I clearly mentioned to them that I've done a certificate course into this, and now I know what budgeting and forecasting is, and that my previous experience will actually help me do better in my role. That's what I did. I got selected after giving 3 rounds. There was a gap of around 1.5 weeks in every round, but it went well at the end.
Yeah, couple of points. So I think one, you're very lucky that you got one interview and you cleared. I mean, you corrected. So a lot of people may not be that lucky. You might have to give 3, 4, 5 interviews to
And
be able to get that.
I remember coming back to you one day and asking that and telling you that I'm not getting any calls and I'm getting very anxious. And at that time, Asif told me that you have to be patient. You have to wait for around 2-3 months to get calls and be part of those processes. Otherwise, it will be a very difficult process. So I think that really worked
Yeah.
out for me.
One thing I like to tell you is don't leave your current job, whatever job you are in, unless and until it's a point where it is affecting your health. Until that point, don't leave your job, because it's easy to get another job if you
Yeah.
have a job in hand. So don't do that. Unless it, obviously there are some other reasons for doing that. So that is one. And also it takes time. So usually it takes, for me it took me 4 months to find the first FP&A role from audit. So I know it takes about 3 to 6 months if you want to be very selective and get into a good role.
Interesting. I mean, the points that you highlighted, Shweta, many times what we have also, and Asif and I have observed, is that people come to us with their resumes, and when we ask them questions as to have you done this analysis, revenue analysis or this XYZ analysis, they have done that. Okay, but they did not know that this was actually part of FP&A. Yeah, so they did not know how to articulate it on the resume. And that is so important. All of us must have done some or the other kind of analysis, even in our accounting role, even in our audit role. But the way that needs to be curated on your resume, that makes a lot of difference as to whether you are being called for an interview or no. That's one. The other important point that you highlighted is that if I have two resumes, if I'm interviewing somebody, first of all, there are no enough experienced FP&A professions out there, right? So which means that I have to give chances to people who have at least done something in FP&A, right? So which means that if I'm interviewing somebody and I get two resumes in front of me, one of them has absolutely not done anything in FP&A. One of them has not worked in FP&A but has done some certification, has done some project, has done some analysis or some experience. I would pick up and give a call to this person, right? So having that certification or having conversations with the mentor and curating your resume in the right way does increase your chances of getting that call. People need to understand this. It's not just mentioning certified so and so will get you a call. You need to curate it in a proper way, that you blend this course with your right analysis experience. And that is what is the key a key point that will generate that number of calls, for interview calls.
And while we are on that topic, certification and skills, are there any other, keeping FP&A masterclass aside, are there any other skills or certifications that has helped you in your journey, in transition or even after the transition?
Okay, so I would like to go here. So I have done a course from CFI Institute, that is from Canada. I mean, I have not completed that yet, but yeah, that's ongoing. That's a 6 month or 7 month of course. And I had reached out to Asif also before taking that. So he had told me like it is a good course. Like if you really can give some time to that, you will definitely learn a lot of things. So that I'm doing it like almost 40 to 50% I have completed. I'm planning to finish it by September or October. So yeah, that is definitely helping me. And there are few things also that I utilize in my current job. So yeah.
Shweta, how about you?
I did only this one certification for FP&A. Other than that, I've not done any certification as yet. But yes, I've written an article about it. So there are certain certifications like the one that CFI provides, and some LinkedIn courses are aligned to this kind of analysis and planning. But I'm yet to do any of those courses specifically for
Yeah.
FP&A.
And do you think your habit of writing and sharing content
Yes.
online helps you, or does it not?
Yes, I think that helps me a lot. And I clearly mentioned to them that I am good at writing and that I have the ability to make complex things very simple. That's what the MD and CFO really liked about my overall interview. I saw it in their eyes because they agreed with the other people on the panel that, okay, this is something that we're looking for, data storytelling, basically. Because they need somebody who can make insights very easy to understand for stakeholders, for somebody who is looking at the reports. So if there's any skill that you have, that or anything that you're passionate about and you can highlight in the interview, you should definitely do that.
Absolutely, yes. And need not be writing. It can be any other skill, like Shweta
Yes.
mentioned.
So one question to you both, Subhashish and Shweta. Many people who are applying for FP&A roles have this mental block that you need to learn some tool, before landing an FP&A role. Is that true? Were you asked any question about your tools knowledge? Is it mandatory? or can you learn it after you get that FP&A job? What's your take on this?
So to me, they didn't ask for any specific tool, any BI tool. They did ask for advanced Excel, and if I'm good at Excel or not. They asked, how well I can rate myself on a scale of 10 in Excel. So since I have been part of audit and accounting, I am quite good at Excel. So that I mentioned to them. But for Power BI or anything, I mentioned that I have not done it yet, but I'm in the process of learning, or I'll learn it on the job. So when I joined the company, I realized that they have a specific BI tool, ClickSense, that they use, and I'll be able to learn it on the job. So I feel that this would vary from company to company.
There are companies who ask about what kind of tools you know, whether how good you are in Excel, like how Sweta mentioned, and they would give some kind of case studies to do in Excel, whether it is simple, complex. Sometimes it's a pretty simple VLOOKUP also they give, pivot they give. But yeah, some companies they assume that you know Excel because if you are a CA, if you are MBA finance, so they assume that you know that. And nowadays companies they assume that you know any visualization tool also, so they don't ask during interviews. They focus on the fundamentals. They focus on the analytical questions, behavioral questions, situation-based questions. But yeah, once you join that, and then they definitely expect you to learn. If you have not learned anything, there are many things they want to learn. Like in my current organization, everything is Power BI. Other than that, also I personally have learned about Longview. So Longview is something. It's a planning tool. It's kind of when you are pulling the data, any financial data from the company's database. It's just like SBase or Hyperion if you guys have worked on that. If somebody is asking me, okay, any aspiring FP&A person, like my advice would be develop your strong analytical and financial skills first. That is priority. And the communication and the presentation skills, that is much required. A deep understanding about the particular industry you are working on and the industry you are going to attend the interview. These two things are very much important. And different certifications are always there to learn things about how the latest trends in finance, like you can follow many FP&A professionals over the globe also, just to understand, okay, how the trends are going on right now, what are the tools different FP&A like different companies are using right now, how the future would look like in finance. And I would say one more thing, like seek mentorship. Mentorship is really necessary for somebody to, go to the next level. That is for sure. And that helped me for sure because I feel Asif and Dhaval are my mentors because I remember asking them a lot of questions personally also. I ping them, I trouble them in different times, and that definitely helped me. And they sometimes they're busy, so but they definitely responded me with long essays, and they write a lot of things about it. Like I remember reaching out to both of them, and yeah, that mentorship is very much necessary. So I would like to tell everyone that find out a good mentor for yourself.
Just ask one last question and then we'll take quick questions from people who are here. So if I have to ask you, what are the three most important things that people should focus on while they are preparing for FP&A? So if you could, whatever comes to your mind in terms of if you had to advise somebody, what would be those top three things or maybe top two things?
So, according to me, understand what the role requires, firstly. If I can go back and relate to what I was, looking forward to in FP&A, I didn't know that forecasting or budgeting was such a huge part of the role. So when I read the book all about FP&A for that project, I got to understand that, okay, what the role requires. So basically, understanding what the role requires from you on a daily basis, or maybe on a quarterly basis, is very important so that you can align your skills in the right direction. Secondly, I think yes, you have to seek the right kind of guidance. The master class that I attended helped me a lot in understanding where I need to brush up my skills, what kind of problems I'm going to face, the real life scenarios that we worked on, like Infosys and everything. They help me understand, okay, these are the problems that I will face while budgeting. These are the kind of situations that I might or might not face. So those kind of situations you do not really face in audit because you are seeing things from a different perspective. So those things help in aligning your skills in the right direction. And thirdly, I would say that be confident in your interviews. It's very, very important. If you're not confident in the interview and if you present yourself as somebody who is very scared to make the transition, they'll just know. So staying confident is the key.
Yeah, and one way to get confidence is to read and learn
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
topic, whether it be books, or not talking about my book only, but whether
Yeah.
it be any book or any other course. So when you do that, you automatically gain that confidence. Dhaval, do you have any questions, or should we go to the audience?
No, I think
Yeah.
we should take the top three inputs from Subhashish as well.
Yes, we should go to Subhashish as well.
Yeah, like
I
if I have
thought
to
I thought he
advise,
shared, but yeah.
I have already told that, but yeah, I'll just repeat that
No, please,
again.
please.
So yeah, I would advise like strong analytical skills. Your financial concept should be clear, and don't focus only on the tools. Any tool can be learned, but yeah, focus on the financial concept and understand about your industry. And if I have to prepare for any interview, I review what are the common FP&A questions available in internet. And I can take maybe chat GPT or any AI tools help for that and understand about the JD, what JD talks about it. So as per that JD, you prepare your interview questions, whatever it is. Then a lot of behavioral questions. So I had attended before taking this role, I had attended almost 7 to 8 interviews. So a lot of behavioral questions people nowadays ask. And I also try to research about the company thoroughly to understand their financial health, where they are, and what are their forecast looks like. So maybe what I explained before about the business canvas model. So that prepare that, keep it in your mind that okay, anything they ask about your company, then you can just give it outright at that time. So yeah, that's the three things or 3 or 4 things I would advise somebody when they're planning for any FP&A interview or FP&A career.